One of the things that I'm learning is it's important to accept your reality. And when you're struggling with something, a situation, a circumstance that you don't like, it's really hard to accept that circumstance. I also find sometimes it's difficult for me to accept myself. So, for the next 10 minutes, we are going to accept God's invitation to stillness when you're struggling to find acceptance in your situation and with God. Thank you for joining me today for this 10 minutes of mindfulness when you're struggling. 10 minutes to acceptance. One of the practices that I'm learning currently is to take my deepest gratitude in one hand and my deepest grief in the other. So for you, this might be a paid off vehicle or a roof over your head, or it's a good friend. Maybe this might be your deepest gratitude. For me, it's my kids. This is my deepest gratitude. And then whatever your deepest grief is, imagine it in the other hand. Whether that is the loss of a loved one, or the loss of a job, or frustration with someone you care about. This might be your deepest grief. This is an unanswered question. This is something that you're working with right now, trying to deal with right now. These two things, God is in both of them, in your deepest gratitude and in your greatest grief. And I'm learning to hold those things, both of them together, over my heart, and to trust that God is with me in my deepest gratitude and my greatest grief. So God, we thank you that you are with us. Your promises are true, that you are with us in our deepest gratitude and in our greatest grief. You're with us, God, in the great unanswerable, unfixable questions of our life. You are with us. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for an invitation to stillness. And I'd like to invite you now to go ahead and make sure your feet are planted firmly on the ground if you can, and to go ahead and make sure that you're seated in a chair. And this practice is relaxing, but the point is to be alert and aware and to not push away our experience, but rather to accept it. I'd invite you now to go ahead and open your hands if you can. This is a posture of receiving. I believe this is also a posture of trust and gentleness. So I'd like to invite you, if you feel comfortable, to open your hands and then to close your eyes. And to focus on your breath. If you've had a particularly busy day, you might need to take about 5 nice deep breaths. In for a count of 4, and then out for 7. In for 4, out for 7. And as you're breathing, I just invite you to smile at whatever experience you're having. Whether you're noticing some discomfort in your body as you try to sit still, I'd invite you to just smile at it. And whether you're noticing a distraction popping up in your mind, I'd invite you to smile at it. Whether you're noticing that your heart is still beating fast, I'd invite you to notice that too. And then come back to your breath. And as you're breathing, let's just take a moment to notice what's happening around us. Noticing what we can hear. Noticing what we can smell. Noticing what we can feel. Noticing what we can see. Noticing what we can taste. And this practice of noticing helps us to recognize that we can notice different things and then let go of them. As we move through each of our senses, we can notice what we see, hear, taste, smell, feel. We can notice all of those things and then let go and come back to our breath. Thoughts are like movies in our mind. And I'd like to invite you now, if you notice a thought coming up in your head about something you're struggling with, I'd invite you to picture placing that thought on a cloud as it moves across the sky and just letting it float on by. Letting that struggle just float on by for a moment while we practice stillness. And then come back to your breath. Noticing whether our breath is deep or shallow when we think about that struggle. Smiling at it, saying, I see you, I accept you, whatever it is. I don't know what situation you're struggling with, but God does. And the Holy Spirit is already praying for you, interceding on your behalf in this struggle you're facing. God is with you right now. And I join with the Holy Spirit in this prayer for you, that you can accept whatever situation you're struggling with, whatever past pain or future worry, that you can find acceptance with your situation. James verse 2 and 3, James 1 verse 2 and 3 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Consider it pure joy. Thank you for joining me for these moments of stillness.